officials, and politicians on issues around politics, policies, governance, and leadership. Every Monday to Friday from 4 to 5:30 p.m. on your super dial, Mainland 98.3 FM will welcome you, roommates, as we discuss the situations.
January 2025, more than 265 lives have been lost to fuel tanker explosions in Nigeria. In many Nigerian states, in their countless attempts to scoop fuel from overturned tankers, ask yourself, is it worth the risk? The diesel, kerosene, and gas are highly flammable. One spark and disaster strikes. Ignorance or hardship alerts the relevant authorities to secure the area and prevent fuel scooping is deadly. Don't take the risk. Stay alive. Be alive. A very good evening to you. Welcome to the Situation Room live on Mainland 98.3 FM. Today is the 7th day of the 7th month of year 20, the half of the year. And it looks like it's going to be maybe one of the years running to. I said maybe the year is excited, or one of those years that would, define how 2027 would most likely, already at a full swing or maybe at a full-fledged already. But by 2026, there's going to be a lot. The primaries of all of them, even look for other SPVs. That's the one they call the special purpose vehicles. Those hanging around political parties that are always there. So we'll have a lot of that in 2026. And if you also follow how the wave of the campaign had started up since last year, we've also seen senators from Gombe to Kano to Sokoto to Trend would also continue into 2026. But more importantly, so if you're wondering why we focus so much on the build up to 2027 election, or you think it's too early, we're still in 2025. Well, maybe for some of us, we know how the politics in the world are very familiar. 2027 started the day the president to cast your votes. I mean, that is not where it ends. That's almost about the primaries that we have in Nigeria. If it is delegate votes, the indirect primaries, where you have less than 3,000 people deciding who almost 100 million people would have to vote for. For indirect primaries, of course, we have more numbers, which a lot of people think 27 is just going to be okay. Let's see how it goes. Let's see who is won or who is picked up the ticket of their party. 8.3 FM. It is the Situation Room, and we get to run these conversations every Monday to Friday from 4 to 5:30. 90 straight minutes of conversation around politics, Oᴜᴜᴜ and have a BTs, his political commitment. The African Democratic Congress, apologies, in talking to Dᴜᴍᴜ, a lawyer by profession, the ADC became the platform at which he's talked about to get into the ADC. And the question everyone is ahead of the 2027 election. These and many more are the conversation we're going to be having on the show today. I have Mr. Kachiku Dumebi live in the studio via phone, of course. The 2023 A2 for finding time to join us on.
Thanks for having me. Let me quickly correct you. Earlier said that I think you mixed myself and my older brother. My brother
yes.
Yes, my brother is Thanks for having me.
Okay, I guess in the process of putting all of the boy, oh boy, you've been on newspaper, on the TV around politics, around the ADC, and so many other things. How did we get to this point, and where exactly are we at the moment politically?
SPV, the ADC is a party that for the last 18, 20 years, this vehicle to prosecute a political ambition. He collects money from them, and then he sells the ambition eventually, okay? Shortly after, his tenure as the chairman of the party lapsed, and we took him on that he has to leave on our party issue, and we went to the Supreme Court. We went to the second court. The second court also ruled that he was no longer the party chairman. This gang of politicians who we call coalition, okay? and they approached me that they wanted to have between 6 and a half a dozen. The people who say they want to form a coalition to remove Tinubu's government are no different from Tinubu in any way. They are the old the campaign, and all these politicians were all going to do the same thing. The effects of the policies will have been the same. So what of the president of Nigeria? So I felt that there was more to it. So I said I will not. And the meeting I had, I asked them a question. I asked, since President Buhari did 2 terms of in that in a unspoken agreement or unwritten agreement that we have South and North taking turns, do you guys agree that if you immediately, they told me absolutely not, that they want to take their power back, that they made a mistake in giving to President Tinubu? And I said that is insulting. For you to look at me a Southern and tell me you are taking your power back, you are saying that I don't have insult. I grew up in northern Nigeria, in primary school, northern Nigeria, using the people who they've left uneducated, manipulating their minds and emotions to pursue their political agendas, and that's what they are trying to do. The whole coalition right now, you see Obi's position. Obi has just been totally messed up. Obi was forced into a situation where who don't have any character whatsoever, they use them to, you don't have support in the north, so his best thing is good. He cannot tell them that he has sold them out. Not so. Atiku is looking for the same position, sitting together for Atiku, and Atiku has said, I'll go to be as my things there on arrival for them. People who don't want anything to do with this kind of people, if they want to enter the kind of rubbish that these people are about.
Position, but you just made mention of a critical, the national chairman that happened to be former commissioner for work. 2 minutes from you, but I'll keep you on the line. I want to play your own ADCs. Just stick around. I'll keep you on the line so that I can listen to it. Then we'll get back to the conversation. Hope you don't mind.
That's fine.
Thank you very much.
Can you enter a man's house through the back door and declare yourself the landlord? These yesterday's men who represent a bad chapter in Nigeria's past have bought shops around for a party to fall for anything. They have told us that these men, made up of a former vice president, former governors, ministers, and political office holders of leadership.
In the ADC, I've also, had the takeover in the APC in the ADC rather is absolutely undemocratic. Now, there is the conversation around Mr. Ralph Unwosu, which you also allege that he's remained salty, and how comfortable.
First of all, are you aware that I just made a statement? I own mainland FM, and that's just what these people have done. Their statements they've made is only in their minds and only in the speeches and the statements So David Mark is not chairman of ADC. WဃᴜᴜsᴜnsAᴘᴜ is not the secretary of ADC, national secretary of ADC. Okay, do what they want. This is a script that old politicians keep on playing over and over and over, that can take out the ruling party, and then after a while, people will start joining this bandwagon. That's all they are doing, and they are using the media to achieve this, which you are planning for. When the convention is done, you will know who our national chairman is. So, just like how I just had the gimmick just now when I said I'm the owner of mainland F, pronouncements or anything you are doing be seen as encouraging that fallacy, political charade and gimmick. That's all it is.
Okay. So let me hold you for your words that from your own perspective, the ADC does not at the moment have a national that's handed over the people. How do you play around this conversation? Your own position to disregard what Ralph Unwosu has done. Now, it looks like it's the house.
To anybody in the street to say that they are workers in mainland FM. Does it make it so? They are trying to get the attention of Mr. President, and they are trying to deceive Nigerians. And they are using Tinubu's playbook with the Southerners. Every day, the more I think about this, the more I feel so bad for us as a people. We need to interrogate their statements. I see that a lot of people are so deceived. A lot of people are so missing President Jonathan. I said these people have absolutely nothing to offer. a Buhari will never change his spots. Hated him for nothing. They believed everything they had. The vocal minority deceived the silent majority. And Buhari came in, and we lost years. He almost destroyed our economy, if not destroyed. Do you know that Nigerians don't realize that under President Tinubu, that they forward sold oil that we are producing already? Now producing oil to pledge the loan. So as they produce it, it's paying back the work to insist on the removal of that subsidy. Even though it was not the one that did it, so it will still work. Of course, you have to remove subsidy where Nigeria increasing. Anywhere they could increase taxes. Look at what they did with power. I keep on saying this. I blame these presidents for not doing what I believe. If I were president of Nigeria, the first thing I would have done is to tell Nigerians the whole truth. This is the mess I have met. What being prosecuted? How many of them have you seen being arrested and announced about like what Buhari was doing? So what do? These same people are now looking immediately after elections. We had a very, very difficult election that a lot of primordial sentiments were whipped up together. No matter how tough or difficult they are trying to be. No matter how tough you are trying very hard to get Obi to work with you. They gave you a chance to work for the Nigeria you said you want to lead, but you refused. But the president did no such thing. He now gave this thing about something else again. When you saw that so-called coalition last week, look at all the extra.
Mr. Kachukwu, that will have been my next line of question because, it is show. The immediate past head of political desk of Guardian newspaper was here, and he talked about how the coalition will need to sell themselves to Nigerians because of the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar to former Speaker, Governor, and Minister Rotimi. A lot of people in that context. Do you sincerely trust the movement of this coalition, or you think it's a case of a build-up to 2015 election? The build-up was very clear. It was a take us to a better land, as Nigerians are craving for so badly.
I don't know the credence, the honor of letting them seem like a legitimate political movement. This is a gang. That's all they are. It's a gang for 8 years, some just for 2 years. They have no means of livelihood other than political. Every morning, your family, your friends, they know where you go to. Nigeria is their only means of life. So they need to be at the center. They need to have access or anything like that. It's an issue of people. The day Nigerians are serious about a coalition, I will tell you this. You will see new ideals, new ideologies. Until then, you will go in a person. The person who has burnt your house in the fire brigade are going to come and put out the fire. I feel sorry for you.
And I've been speaking to Dumebi Kachoko, and then we've looked at a whole lot of issues, a coming together of, let me not use the word he's used, but of trade-up. I've also seen how you've questioned where we are. People are literally begging to put food on their tables and to take care of their families. You look at it's dropping. I saw on a friend's status this morning that a lot of companies are declaring profit. So what would you rather have? In quotes, a gang of people better than the angel you don't know. Is that what you think? Or can you take us through what you feel should be the way forward right now?
You preclude people like me and other people, a new generation of politicians who are aspiring. You gave two options. The two options you gave are now let's be clear about one thing, that Naira will be at par with the dollar. When instead APC came in and reversed President Obasanjo. They reversed all those gains. But I want to also be clear that what President Tinubu met as president of Nigeria, united country, a united citizenry to be able to saying this. Anybody that expects him to trade and fighting this government every day on social media, they cannot stand the future of our country, damaging our every day on social media. We don't understand what we are doing this service to our nation. The full thing is that anytime we are speaking, like that, And I said laughing, I said the same old, let me say to all Nigerians, you know what? Call me President Tinubu spoke. Unfortunately, I'm not his spokesperson. I speak this nation. I speak as someone who is pained by the suffering of give opportunities to our people, to our young people to thrive. Tired of this. I'm tired. I'm tired that my generation lost a golden opportunity for leadership. That the same men I grew up hearing their names, people like David Mark, are the same people who are still hearing their names today. I feel ashamed that giving to our children. What are we giving to our children? That in the year 2025, we're still talking about North and South. They started sponsoring terrorism against the country. They were killing people left and right all over Nigeria. That is useless, is this? Is that not what we're seeing again? Suicide bombings have started again. Killings can no longer farm. What are they doing? What they want you to say, this president is useless, this government is useless, he has to go. God forbid. We need to pick sense. I keep on saying this. I have been in Abuja for over 3 decades. I know the games of these people. They are desperate people. They will do anything for power. So say whatever you want to say. I make bold to say that Nigeria is worth fighting for. That's the fight. I dare every single person there to come out and announce, okay, you know what? They will never say it. Someone is selling them a dummy.
Mr. Kachikwu, now let me put it to you. You've said repeatedly that we need to grow sense. We need to look elsewhere. Because from, the conversation I had, David Mark was part of the military system in the government. In the word of WİKE, from who this party now that is the talk of the town for everyone in 2023? Should we expect maybe 2 options of either staying with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu or aligning with the coalition? Let's imagine that I removed those 2 options from you, Mr. Kachikwu. What options would I put on the table? Would you be running in 2027?
That the people who should run in 2027 should be South because it's our turn. That they must not destroy Nigeria. And number 3, a different type of politics. Every man is equal before the law. Our potentials are encouraged, that we diminish what divides us, and that meritocracy is the order of the day. Now, let me tell you this. Even if in 2027 we don't achieve it, because it's a worthy calling for us. What is our common charter as a what we preach every day is what divides us as a people. What is it that binds us all beyond the few times when the national team is playing soccer? Different way, in a different manner. It was not the best, it was all they knew. But in order to do anything to just take power. So I am loyal to the president of Nigeria because he's the president of my country. That is what opposition means. I'm in opposition. But opposition is not just to oppose. You must start talking about the economy. I've learned. Ask you a question. Even if it's cutting than 2 years, absolutely not. So then they give him a chance. From day one, you fought this president and you're fighting Nigerian people. You're making things difficult. Problems. If you don't solve the naira, we could not give them their dollars. What was their value proposition? What would they have done differently? Power down. For how long were we going to borrow more policy is a theory, a position on proposals. You can change. That's what it is, grinding slowly on crime, stabbing people, stealing phones. That is malls are suffering everywhere. As a people, we can weather the storm and we emerge from this stronger and better. The people, that's what you do.
Election. You look at the APC, the PDP, the Labour, and I mean, over the years, especially the last few years, for instance, almost all of the pillars of the PDP have moved now to the goal, now to pick up the national chairman of the ADC, even though my guest thinks I want. You'd also look at some of these issues left and right, but the opposition had also not made the job easy. If you look at democracies everywhere in the world, the opposition plays a major role. Just like my guest said, it is not just to make the state safe. Oh, education is in a bad place. Let me ask you a straightforward question. I'll take us back to the build-up to the 2023 election. You were the presidential candidate of who signed your presidential form?
He was the chairman of flag bearer. That is when his tenure ended. 1st of August. He signed my form at, I think, end of May.
Because that is how the nomenclature they are presenting. The perspective here is a coalition. From your perspective, I mean, they always say that two what Nigerians need at this particular moment. At this part, let me put it that way. I think that's the right line. What would be your ideal coalition?
If they want to go in a different direction, either that the government is not working, that Nigeria has never worked for them, you want to go in a different direction, not so. A coalition should be a coalition of those people who are most affected, who say they want to go in an entirely different direction. New faces, new names. That when they say that, oh, they want to present an article to challenge Tinubu and Tinubu, just imagine if Nigerians mobilize and say, none of these old guys again, none of these people anymore. We want new faces. Do maybe you show the land. But I bet you, as long as we continue to do the charade of recycling these people, these old, seeing that there was no outrage when these people emerged to say, what is going on here? The same people? He shook his head for Nigeria, that coalition that came and removed David Mark. Coalition that came and removed David Mark's government, that Jonathan's government, is the same coalition now that is joining David Mark to remove the coalition and remove David Mark. Really? We want a different direction. Don't make the mistake of pointing to any of these people to say they are the ones who take on Tinubu different direction. Let them compete. Compete on the basis of ideas. Let political parties be about ideology. In the last election, if you know what I went through as a candidate, as a presidential candidate, they were scared to have, because it's a contest of ideas. When you get to that stage, you present your idea, one person presents his ideas, people weigh them on the scale of logic, can add it to mine. And then if you emerge as the president, the governor, whatever, what do? Because you have tested your ideas before the public. You know what makes sense, what might not make sense. You've heard the best of, but they never agreed to have debate. They were afraid of hearing fresh ideas. All they wanted to do was that. All they wanted to do. No ideas, no policies, nothing. So, if you support OB, OB has a movement. If you on the security crisis we are facing, what is his policy on security? What is housing? What is his policy on improve? On where he stands on any issue? Because we're a nation. Ask anybody. I challenge you, ask anybody. The only thing that you will ever hear that they know is that you said we are going from consumption to production. Do you know in America, a 9-year-old can, that is how you develop societies. That's how you just.
Thank you very much. We've spent quite a lot of time on that. You've analyzed the leadership in your own. In 2022, when WဃÇոᴜnsAᴘᴘ community like the PDP have been using for years now, the front door.
So, a board of trustees of the party, and that is, and they then went on appeal, and then up to Supreme Court. So, common sense dictates that if what has been going on, so anybody that wanted to have anything to do with the party should have dealt with the neck of the party. They want to have a neck meeting.
You accuse these people of coming through the back door. What would have been the front door?
they made a very, very big blunder in Amechi. They are all they are saying is that even P2B, all they are saying is that they are registering other that ADC.
That was why I asked you at the start.
Insult to the people they consider ordinary men and women. But what and see what ordinary men and women of Nigeria do?
Interesting conversation, 55 minutes. We've been on this talk, and believe me, at the comments, we have presidential candidate in the 2023 election has been my guest on the show today. And we've been looking at issues. He said the NEC, which is the stopgap mechanism used to administer the party session, are coming into the AD. We're already somewhere else today. Thank you. Thank you very much for being my guest on the show today. You're a big man. You're a big man. I mean, you can't be the presidential candidate. You can't be.
Only big men should be presidential candidates. No.
Because it means you have to move around the 774 local governments, all of the 36 states of the federation. That's a lot of work.
That is why you have to have good ideas so you can have people who want to support you.
Thank you. A big shout out to Joseph Fᴏʟᴏᴡ for coming through with this contact, Mr. Dumebikachuku, that the neck of the party have been holding sway in terms of the leadership conversation within the party. So he said the coalition, he says that they've come in through their candidate. We'll take a very short break. What would come as well on Facebook.com/mainland90. Download the radio garden. We're very clear, as crystal clear as the day, and then you
Things seems anxious and uncertain. I understand the hardship you face. I wish there were other ways.
Food and development. We have made 4 to 5:30 p.m. Monday to Friday the perfect time to welcome you into the Situation Room as we continue to build the narrative about public service and accountability.
Mr. President, this Senate needs to know. Mr. President, this Senate needs to lend its voice to the plight of these people. Mr. President, there is nowhere I can say it except here. This is why I'm elected. If I cannot say these things on this floor, sir.
From those they voted into office.
Look at us now, there is nothing. We are starving. Tinubu should please do something.
It's also important to having a Nigeria of everyone's dream. Join issues around politics, policies, governance, and leadership every Monday to Friday from 4 to 5:30 p.m. on your super dial.
Okay, welcome back. We're pressed for time. We have about 20 on Facebook, on YouTube, and of course on our direct number 0913-600-0410. If you missed the show, yes, you've missed a lot. The last 1 hour, I've been speaking with the 2023 presidential candidate of arguably the bride of everyone in African Democratic Congress, the ADC. Well, Mr. Dumebikachuku has been my guest on the show. I'm seeing your messages, and I got a bit late. Let's get it on. Hello, good evening. Oh, okay, keep it going. Hello, good evening.
Hello, the floor is 20 years on the floor. Concerning what he's talking, and I listened to him as Mr. Obi for 8 years. Let him show us the agriculture for production to consumption. That is where that is only where they can believe people. But if you don't have all these facts, he is a criminal like others.
Oh, no. I've always said this. Let's be as civil as we can be. You can't come on national radio and be calling someone a criminal. You don't run, go Japan.
No, sometimes you rest. So they can better say this. When Morgan was leading head, he gave bribe, used bribe. Is it not the same thing with the other politicians? People to break. Everybody's coming to talk. And for people with these issues, whether you are going Anambra, P2B has been speaking, telling people what you did, and people keep asking. Is P2B the only former presidential candidate? That one is a nightmare for this other.
You're welcome.
Oh, yes. Let me reduce my family guest. I know he's a member of the party. And you know, on that side, he's right in the sense that who I'm just looking at amongst them is just Obi. He's the one that has a kind of different life among them. And the I can hear that I think he said that they are going to tackle corruption, which means he has the intention of running again. With the same thing that we don't learn our lesson. And it's just sad that since Obi has been lured. If Obi, I would suggest Obi should not If you go for VP, you should forget it. The idea now.
Thank you, Mr. Ashola. I wish I have enough time to take all of these calls, but we have to be very, very brief with our contribution. Thank you. Let's do this real quick.
God bless you. Yes. Mr. Query, my brother. Look, as you see me now, allow me to sleep. So
are you the president, Barrister Peter Oko?
No, I don't have to be president. I may keep complaining and complaining. We should enter the field and play football, you know, because it's easy to criticize when you are watching boxing. It's to form a coalition of concerned patrons of this country to liberate and clean up looters and political scavengers. Because all this coalition they're doing will not help.
Okay.
You know.
I need to let you go. I need to them because we're pressed for time. But let me take as much as I can take before we leave, in case you want to reach us on WhatsApp. So let's take the messages that we have on Facebook, facebook.com /mainland 98.3 FM. Okay, Vic, thank you. Thank you very much for your comments. Okay, Aya Sunday Stefano says, ask your guest who signed his presidential nomination form in 2023. I did. I mean, he says your guests have not spoken incident to Mr. Atiku. The coalition are not kids politically. They have election, then the coalition becomes dead on arrival. As at now, they are still on course. Benjamin from Shogule, thank you. Ebere Chukwu, can they ask him what the ADC will have accomplished in their own without joining forces with other political parties? Guest will say for me to believe that his party is not working for Tinubu. Was he not in the country? Then the man should go and rest. Please, all these political jobbers should leave us alone. And we are seeing an alternative. One, he's a very biased person. Two, he's self-side of your message. All I mean is, you're advising that Tinubu should reduce his tea blood. He would never win in his polling unit. Nigerians would vote again, guys. Thank you, John Benjamin. I'll have to skip that. John Anoma says, ask him how many. Zino Agbawe says, your guests claim that Mr. President didn't have any money when he came in, but first thing he did when he assumed office was family. Okay. Mr. Kachuku is looking for. God bless Mr. Dumebi for your unbiased analysis. Sorry, it's going to be a gang up tea, but let them know the good heart is just to grab power. Look, dear Nigeria. Okay, thank you. Let me pick some calls. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, okay.
You're welcome.
Mr. Kangbelina.
Mr. Kangbelina, good to have you join us on the show.
Yes, the coalition, the gang up, they're bad, they're this and that. Leave them for us. The people that are there now,
you like them like that?
Yeah, the coalition. Oh, they were bad people. They were all these people that were. And by the way, it's good that person asked him a question. How many votes did you get the last time? So it's looking like that man. They have paid him.
Zero. Let me read a few of your WhatsApp messages. Oh boy. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. This one are the political gladiators that Nigerians are looking on to the rescue the country from total decay. I just hope that won't end in 2027. If this happens, it would dash the hope of unseating and defeating President Tinubu in the 2027 election. In the best national interest, the political gladiators should rally around Mr. Peter Obi to become the next president in 2027. Okay. So that Nigerians can breathe. ADC are now the owner of the party that will decide who is to be what. He really exhibited that there's something he's doing for Tinubu. That's Chris from my party. He said they should leave Tinubu to continue with the work he's doing. Which work? And he's even painting everybody black, except him and Sᴏᴜ being the saint. How many us to your program? We are being sidelined in our local government. Okay. Thank you very much. Let us talk about Ogun State come 2027. Who is the Messiah? That's Olamilekun removed from Songota. Well, I don't know. I'm not a soothsayer. Okay. Tough for me. If he doesn't know Obi's position on security, education, and economy, let him go and watch Obi's campaign in 2023. He atomized everything he wanted to do if he was elected as president. He keeps saying my ADC. Does the ADC belongs to him? Is maybe the owner of the party? One man claiming to own a party and he wants to be president of Nigeria. What was Dumebi's performance in 2023 election? That's Chris from Magboro. Thank you. Good evening, Okpe. God bless you for your guest. God bless you and for your guest today. He spoke well, but he spoke like a Nigerian that is living far from the reality of Nigerians. Nigerians are suffering and they are wallowing in asbestos from Ikorodu. Okay, thank you. More messages, more light on the discussion. Tune in from Agbo. That's what we usually do. But because Mr. Dumebi is not in Nigeria at the moment, he told me that he's going to join with us for just 30 minutes, but we did 1 hour. We already made a promise. We'll always keep our guests on standby if you've been following us. Thank you. Your visitor is more of APC and hypocrisy praise singer. He can't even win a polling unit. That's Scholar.
Afternoon.
Good to have you join us. 1 minute.
I hope you are good.
I'm fine.
Okay, instead of that light blue.
It's not a white suit, actually.
I can't compare it like white. I don't know, meek or white.
It's a beautiful, well-crafted. That's what you're saying.
That blue design, it's not that, because of that background of that design, you know.
Okay.
Of course, they are doing a good thing. Apart from playing politics with some of all these designers, he demonstrated that I am a good Nigerian. I love Nigeria, and I want to do everything to make sure that I paint Nigeria white instead of painting it black. Like somebody will always call on your program, say we have better have one chance. You know, speak good about your country. Yes, we understand that. Yes, 2027 is approaching. If not for bad government, this country is one of the most conducive or best country, because we even have some small businesses. Nobody is prognosing in our business Donald Trump that will come and say, if you don't pay your tax, you are going to
pay. I'll have to let you go. I've always said it. America is just that are intentional about fixing this country. Then you see that all of the things that Nigerians always do, of course they want to leave this country, will not bother doing it. It's as simple as that. Imagine someone that is having a solid, comfortable life, just waking up, selling all of their properties and going over to another country to start over again and doing some of the most uninteresting jobs you can imagine. If this country can work, nobody wants to go anywhere. From Robert, he says, your guest is a spokesman for the AP. He said Tinubu should be giving more time. Did Tinubu and the APC give Jonathan any time? I told you, this man is an APC man. Okay. This one on YouTube. How many votes did he get in the last election? Tinubu increased the number of ministers from 36 to 42. Is that Buhari's doing? Please bring people of integrity to your studio before you lose followership. That's surely not going to happen. Do you know the hardship on ground that transport from Lagos to Delta that was formerly 10K is now 29K, just to mention but a few? Well, Abuja to Lagos by road used to be about 14 to 15,000. The last I checked is now 47,000. That's a lot of money. That used to be the money for flights. Hello, good evening.
Hello. I want to ask you for two things.
Please go on.
Okay. Mr. Fᴏᴜ this year is going to contest you.
He's listening. He's listening.
Yesterday, I can't, but network no allow me to tell her.
Oh,
I mean, tell her.
Okay.
This year he's going to contest as a senator for my locality.
Okay, no, I'll tell you.
Okay, help me tell Okachugu, they come in like as we suffer. Either bad people, old people, we like them like that. We'll vote for them.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Desmond. Thank you. More messages. Good afternoon, Okpe. Why is it that anybody that doesn't support Obi, they attack the person? Your guest has spoken well. Well, I don't know where that is coming from. All APC followers have been stalked by the APC. James.
Good evening. Thank you for the great work you guys are doing.
Thank you.
I've been listening from the onset when your guest started, even to the point of calling the people that made up of it. He talked about that every one of them promised Nigerians to remove fuel subsidy if they eventually emerge as winner. Now, let me ask that man a question. Okay, when you're a football analyst, the same set of players, the same coach used to win So why would this man, regard that everybody has made reference of removing first from the when he better, and this man
2012, Chelsea had the manager Andres Villas-Boas, and then they sacked him, and then a certain Roberto Di Matteo in caretaker capacity came in and won the Champions League, the very first Champions League with the same team. Well, yet again in 2022 or thereabouts, there was a certain Frank Lampard that set them their second Champions League. I'm just trying to explain what Mr. James from Agbado just brought up here. Sometimes it's not about the team, it's about the leadership of the team. Thank you. Thank you so much for everyone that made this conversation a very interesting one. My guest today was Mr. Tomorrow, 4 p.m. on your super dial, mainland 98.3 FM. Is the situation. My name is Oᴏᴜ Akéde. Next up is